A message popped up that said I'm allowed to record. So that's interesting.
Anyone else want it yet?
What? What's that, a fox?
That's coyotes.
Coyotes. There's a deer.
Oh yeah. Got a nice buck out there.
That Rio Link camera that you said something about
Yeah.
4 meetings ago.
Yeah.
It's on sale for $27 on eBay.
Woo.
They've only got 5 of them.
Now, if you want one, let me know. Because it depends on the model. They're different models.
Yeah, it's the E1. It's the one that is the 3 megapixel.
Yeah, and that one is a little tricky. You might like it because the Real Link software is great. It's the best software I've seen.
Yeah.
For viewing, and it has a Windows app, and it's really great. But it doesn't run on my software.
Yeah.
So, but you know, I care. So if you're gonna get one of those, let me know before you do it.
Well, I thought about it, but Hattie's right. I've got a box sitting there that is completely full of security cameras.
Yeah.
And until we move and I know what I actually need, I don't think I'm going to buy any more.
Yeah.
I probably got 10 or 15 of them up there in a box.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and it's you select them for the purpose that you need. I've got the Real Link. My 5 megapixel is a Real Link also.
Yeah.
And it's compatible with the software, which is really nice. But it's a doozy. It is a doozy. They got good software. It's the best yet, software-wise. And the E1 is the cheap one, and they have another one. I forget what the next level is, and it is compatible with the other software. And it's also what's the name of it? That special compression, VIC, or what was it? It's a 3-letter acronym that they use, and you need that acronym. And that lower one doesn't have it. It's using a little too much bandwidth. So I think the next step up, which it was $50, I think they may be coming down on that. I hope they are.
Yeah.
Anyone else want it yet?
Out there at the yard sales last weekend or weekend before, I don't remember. There was a guy who had a couple of cheap security cameras for $5 a piece. And Patty was like, "You didn't buy those." I'm like, "Yes, but as you said before, I don't need them."
Yeah.
And they were cheap. I mean, the price, $5. I mean, that's a good price, but you don't know what you're getting for $5.
Yeah, exactly.
His problem.
I got 5 or 6 I'll sell you for $5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're probably just buying his problems.
Yeah, the old Foss cams.
Yeah.
Are they're worthless nowadays. With the ones that set up with the cell phone, they're decent. The Sri cams are getting out of date.
I've got a couple of those cams and a couple of those Sri cams, but I think they'll work for what what I would use them for, but
Yeah, for indoor, looking at a room, the Shricam 720s are pretty good for that.
yeah.
The 120s are nicer for outside, but they don't have the compression, and that is a big deal.
Yeah.
I can run that 5 megapixel over the cell phone at 172K. They use the 264 compression, and that new standard, the new standard for the cameras, it doesn't have 265 yet. 265 H265. They don't have that yet, and that's going to double the reduce the bandwidth by 2. So, but that's not there yet. So the 264s are pretty good. H264 are pretty good. I like them. That's what these have. That's what the ones you were talking about have.
Yeah. I just, I don't use them for anything. So Patty's right. I shouldn't be buying them until I need them. Until I figure out.
Well, I hadn't stopped you before. You make up an excuse, you know?
Yeah. I need them because it's Wednesday.
Yeah. So, yeah, I've been fighting the lawn tractor has been taking me down. And then the pool pump has been taking me down. And, oh, man.
You were fighting the pool pump like last year, weren't you?
Oh, the pool is a continuing thing. You got a pool that's 25 years old.
Yeah.
The sweep, the pool sweep is 25, 30 years old. It's all plastic, except for stainless steel parts. And it's 25 years old, and it's mechanical. It operates off of water pressure. I haven't had to touch it this year. It's probably broke out there now. But
you better knock on some wood.
You can still buy parts for them. And the new one's $450. I can't believe it. Just keep her going. But I put a new one into it. There's still some original parts on it though.
Yeah. I've been working on that Hero Junior, you know.
Yeah.
I've decided that this week I'm probably going to finish up the hardware part of it, get it all put in there, and then I can just slowly work on the software over time.
Yeah, I think your I2C deal is the way to go. Just spin everything off on a Nano, and just have different controls. It'd be very simple, and all you do is shove down the set points to the Nano, and you're out of here.
I've got a Mega in it right now, so I'm going to leave that alone because I've soldered all the wires to the Mega and everything. I spent hours desoldering, the stupid pin connectors.
The disadvantage with the Mega is you're some of the stuff you're doing is like multitasking, okay? And if you break it up into small units, like all the steering could be done on a Nano. The audio, well, all you need is a speaker for that. But if you want to do multi-functions, if you have Nanos, you don't have to multitask. You got the device there, and if you don't,
all the multitasking will be handled by the Raspberry Pi.
Yeah, but you typically want to do I/O devices on something else beside your main device, because like to do speed control, if you're going to do stepper motor type control, Well, I don't know with it. That's true with the,
The Mega can do it.
yeah. Here comes
Raspberry Pi's just gonna
Vicente.
tell the Mega to take it to a certain set point and let it go.
Yeah.
The Mega's just gonna sit there and listen for commands.
Okay, and then you got to do steering too, right?
The only steering that's on that is there's one stepper motor and one DC motor.
Okay. Oh, okay. You don't control the speed. It's just on or off control.
It's all really geared for slow. I mean,
okay.
There's a lot of gears in there. So it's going slow and there's no speed control to it. So it's just turn the motor on, turn the motor off, turn the motor go backwards, turn the motor go forward.
Well, we had, you were using a speech synthesizer before, and now you've got that built in.
Yeah, it's in the Raspberry Pi.
And what else does it do?
All the Mega's going to sit there and do is wait for the Raspberry Pi to tell it to do something.
Yeah.
The Raspberry Pi is going to tell it to turn on the motor, and then it's going to go and tell it to turn off the motor. The only
does it do a light
kind of multitasking that might be involved is to get the ultrasonic sensor data.
Oh, yeah.
That might be the only thing that might need a little.
But you do a light show, right?
Do what?
You do a light show, don't you? Blink the lights and stuff like that?
Yeah, but that's all just waiting for commands from the Raspberry Pi. It always was. It's just sitting there waiting for something else to tell it to do something.
Okay, who controls the lights?
Raspberry Pi.
Okay, so you're going to do I/O directly.
They're connected to the Mega, but the Raspberry Pi is ultimately controlling them.
Oh, okay.
The ultrasonic is really the only thing that I think would need multitasking capability.
Look what Vicente has done to us now.
Vicente's always messing around with stuff.
You're messing with it. Did you get a new camera, Vicente?
No, why?
Did you refocus it closer up or something?
No, I am further now. Why?
I just noticed earlier when you were looking at stuff, we could see it better than we normally could for some reason.
No, nothing.
Same camera, huh?
Yeah.
There's a light sensor, a sound sensor, which is useless now because the Raspberry Pi will handle that, and the ultrasonic sensor. And the ultrasonic is really the only one that might need to have its own task going.
Yeah.
And we've done stuff like that before, a couple of tasks running on a Mega. It's not that hard to do.
Okay.
How is the robot, the Junior, or what's the hero?
Yep. Yeah.
That's what we're talking about. I was talking about dividing up and putting some nanos in there, but he doesn't have that much demand for multitasking.
Yeah. How many ultrasonic sensors?
There's just one.
6.
One.
How many are you planning to use? Just one?
There's just one ultrasonic sensor right there in the front.
Mm.
And that Raspberry Pi should multitask. It's a little rear end off. It should be transparent.
The Mega is really just sitting there waiting for the Raspberry Pi to tell it what to do.
Yeah.
I'm really not going to have the Mega do anything. Like the Mega will read the ultrasonic and send that information to the Raspberry Pi, and the Raspberry Pi should decide if it's too close or not and tell it to kill the motor.
You must make an override in the Mega. If the distance is too slow, the Mega just stop the motors because maybe the Raspberry Pi is disconnected or something. For safety, it's better to have a minimum level of tripping stop the robot.
The only thing I could think of that might be in trouble if you're running the stepper motor and the ultrasonic at the same time, that might get a little tight. Just a little tight.
Maybe.
Yeah. You can.
That'd be easy, just run one at a time. You really don't. With the ultrasonic tester, you run it 4 or 5 cycles and you're done, and then queue it up for another every 1/10 of a second, and you're right, you'd have plenty of time to do that.
Yeah.
Just don't run it continuously, just run it.
I don't think you'd run the stepper motor continuously either. You only need to tell it to go to like 45 degrees or 180 degrees or something like that. And then you're going to turn the DC motor on. So, I don't know. We'll see how it works. If it doesn't work.
How big are those stepper motors?
It's that one. I'll get it.
Did you replace that stepper motor?
Let's see.
It's that big one that I brought in.
Okay.
Oh, good Lord.
How can I expand your screen? Talk to make it get bigger.
Can you hear me?
Now, okay, yeah.
Is that better?
Yeah. Wow.
I brought that in.
This is very powerful, right? You
Yeah,
have a lot of production.
It's probably way more powerful than I need.
Nice.
I'm going to finish getting the hardware done on this week, though. That's the goal.
We need a laser. We need to get one of those 90-watt lasers on there. What do you think?
Why do I need a laser?
Well, threaten people. People pay attention to you.
To keep the social distance. Anyone that comes under 6.
Yeah.
Got a green laser somewhere. That should work. We could overpower that sucker. I put 9 volts on that before.
One of those electric gun things. What do they call those things that pulses the metal projectile out? Super velocity. Never mind.
Yeah, one of those things. And that's the DC motor with the big old gear on it.
This is the displacement, and the other one is the direction, right?
Yeah. So that attaches to the direction, and then it'll just.
You need to put your battery over this wheel to have better traction, you know, instead of in the other wheels.
I'm replacing the battery. The battery's actually going to be pretty light. It's going to be lipos. Instead of
you need to push some weight over this wheel, you know, not in the other 2 wheels, just on this one. to have more traction.
In this machine, you don't put it on unlevel surfaces and stuff like that anyway. He did have a little traction issue with the dancing. That's true, but I don't know if weight would help that when it was dancing.
Well, that was using the old DC motor that was in it too. I replaced that DC motor with the stepper motor.
Oh, okay.
That old motor was not very good. The windings in it had corroded. It was amazing that it worked at all. So I replaced it with that stepper motor. And I suppose since, it's got the head there, I can adjust it up and down a little bit. I've got.
This is the original hardware?
No. This is original, but the stepper motor isn't.
Okay.
The stepper motor solves a bunch of problems because originally it had two stops, and this thing would spin around and hit the endpoint, and then it would spin around and hit an endpoint, and then it tried to always come back to where it thought it was, but since it was a DC motor, it never was.
Yeah, you never know.
Was right. So a stepper motor should solve at least that problem.
Yeah.
And should be more precise there. This DC motor still acted like it was pretty good. It runs really, really slow, but it's the gear ratio that's on it that makes it run so slow. So it runs at the full 12 volts. No real way to change that. I guess I could take the gear off and let it run free, but it wasn't really designed.
You could get a controller and run it at 24 volts and get whatever speed you want out of it.
Yeah.
Is a 12 volts or 24 volts motor?
This is a 12 volt motor.
Oh, so that is the maximum speed you can have.
It's
so the gear ratio probably limits him severely.
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised they didn't stick a 12 volt or a 24 volt motor in there. But so I've got to drop everything. I've got a 36 volt. Oh, that won't work. I've got a 36 volt battery.
You need an inverter, step down converter.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to drop that down to 12 volts.
May I have one for you? How many amps do you need in 12 volts? Maybe you can use a meter when you try to stop with your hand and see the maximum current in your meter, and this will be the maximum current you need for.
It's not. It shouldn't be a big deal.
See, the Raspberry Pi. I'm powering the Raspberry Pi. The motor is probably what's going to take the most current.
Yeah, but you need to step down this voltage. If you use a linear power source, you will lose a lot of power, a lot of heat. Will be a waste of energy.
That's another 50 cents. There goes a 50-cent cat.
Keep track of all those 50-cent cats.
Yeah, y'all are getting in debt to me here.
Well, I'm glad I looked at that. 15 watt. That only takes 24 in.
You think what's the motor?
It doesn't say.
That will be an amp and a half.
Yeah, I think it's about an amp. So I probably need to go 2 or 3 amps anyway. I don't think the Raspberry Pi takes very much.
Well, let me know if you need the step down, and I check if I have it. I have several, but I don't remember if I have the right one for you.
I found one, but it turns out it's not the right one.
You need to step down from 36 volts to 12, right? And maybe a couple of amps.
Steps down from 36 to 24. I suppose I could do it twice.
Some are adjustable.
Yeah, you want the high efficiency type, of course, and you could go from wherever you want to wherever you want to. And they're a couple of bucks, my goodness, for an amp or two. They're really not expensive.
No, it wasn't expensive. Everything I see right now, though, wants to drop everything down to 5 volts. 5 volts won't do me any good.
The ones on the adjustable ones, I wonder about the efficiency change. I don't know about those. I've been seeing some that are like touting 95% efficiency, and they're cheap. So, but if you vary the voltage on them, do you lose efficiency? I don't know, because it says up to 95%.
I'm checking in Amazon.
That's where I'm looking.
There is well, but they are expensive, you know. 20 amps is too much.
Let's see, 36 volt to 12 volt converter for golf cart regulator reducer.
How much?
$22.
How much?
20 amps, $22.
You couldn't put 20 amps into that little motor. It would be singing. You need a couple of amps.
Yeah,
I think so.
I don't need that. I don't need a golf cart converter. That's
For sure.
that's one thing I don't need. What is this? 12 volt, 5 amp, 5 amp. That'll work. $10.
Oh, yeah.
Well, here you have 3 pieces for $7, $8. Let me show the screen. Share the screen. This one. Can you see it?
Okay.
These are $8 for 3 of them. And you can adjust from, the input is from 4 to 38 volts, and the output is adjustable for 1.25 to 36 volts, 5 amps.
That definitely do it. I wouldn't suggest stepping it twice, Leroy. You want to step it one time.
And you have 3. You need to adjust. You need to adjust one for 5 volts for the Raspberry Pi.
Yeah.
And you
I've already got the one for 5 volts.
But this is too cheap for, maybe it's no good. But the rating is 5 stars for 5 ratings, and $8 for 3 is cheap. And you will have it on Saturday. Then.
Wow.
Let me show you the one I.
Okay. Stop sharing here.
See what it said about the efficiency? It said
Yeah.
96%,
96%. It's okay. It's
but in
fine.
parentheses, it said highest. In parentheses, it said highest. Okay, so that's what makes me wonder. They probably have a curve in there in the specs.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe it's more efficient at some voltage.
It's
And
more
some-
efficient
some-
at the higher voltages, probably.
Yeah, I think so.
That's the one I saw. But
Uh-huh.
it had said one of these. There it is.
No, but the input is
36 volt.
24. But it's
Yeah.
the image, you know. This image is of the.
It says right here though, 24, 36, 48 to 12 volt and 5 amps.
What's the efficiency?
Don't say.
I don't see that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't see anything that says efficiency.
Yeah.
I think I've got something like that somewhere. Maybe just temporary use it just for testing purposes.
Yeah. And you're probably you don't need that much efficiency anyway.
If it lasts a couple hours, I'll be happy. But I'm going to change everything over. I'm going to change the batteries from the gel cells over to lipos, and I've got those 36 volt batteries that came out of the those scooters, and I decided that's probably a good battery to use.
Mhm.
Probably. I don't know. I'm just here. I'm just doing stuff.
Try with a battery from Steve for experimenting the lead battery, 12 volts will be okay. And you need weight over this wheel. You need weight to have traction.
Somebody needs to tell me how to search on Amazon and not get stuff that you're not looking for. That's just very irritating to me.
What?
It just throws everything and the kitchen sink in there. And you think you found what you asked for.
Yeah. I don't like Amazon searches.
Yeah, I don't like it also, but I need to spend more time trying to figure out how to find other options, because Amazon used to bias always my search, you know. That's good. I like that.
I like that one.
Yeah, me
It's a
too.
little bit more expensive.
But it looks good quality. I have one exactly, but for 5 volts.
Yeah, I've got a bunch of these for the 5 volts.
Exactly.
I like these.
Yeah, me too. It's a little more expensive, but maybe they have the efficiency somewhere. Look down in the
92%.
specification. Where? 92?
92. Yeah.
It's not too much, but
It's next to the last line.
Right here.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
And there's only one left in stock. Don't buy it. I need to buy that.
The ratings are not good. The ratings, look at the ratings on that. That
Okay,
one's
check the rating is important.
3.5 stars.
That's
No.
not good.
4,
How many?
Three
How
and a
many
half.
rating? How many ratings?
3.5, he said.
3 ratings. Three people.
No, it's not enough.
Yeah, he's been around. I tell you, Vicente's been around. 3 ratings doesn't count, and 3.5 stars is definitely in no way.
Maybe you like this one with a display.
It
Let me show this.
I don't trust the ratings anyway.
You see this one?
That's
with a display.
that's very, very similar to the one that I've got in Mark's robot. Only it's the output has a USB jack instead of a terminal jack.
Yeah. The good thing is you can see the voltage in the display.
Yeah.
You will have 2 of them for $14. I don't know if you need to pay the shipping, but this price I have here is for Prime member.
That's a very, very similar one to what I'm using in Mark's robot though. So
this looks very nice also.
This one right.
Look, this one.
Go back one page.
Back.
And go down the right there. Stop. The third one in the WMY 2-piece. Yeah, that one. That's exactly what I've got in Mark's robot to get the 5 volts.
5 volts. Okay. Yeah.
But that other thing is very, very close. And I probably have a couple of those somewhere. I'm going to have to dig through my pile of stuff. I may have to dig through my pile of junk before I order some stuff.
Golf cart. This is the one you saw.
Yeah, we need a golf cart one.
Okay, I releasing the screen. Stop. You have 4 minutes.
5-minute warning.
And we're almost there.
We can do it.
Yeah. I'm not finding a lot of 36-volt ones on eBay.
Yeah.
Most of the ones that I see are like 24 volts, but they've got a range of they'll go through.
I think that 36 is cheaper because it's used everywhere in all the scooters and everything. And you have the advantage of the volume. You can have better prices using more voltage.
I've been trying to avoid buying stuff from China right now. I just had 2 things refunded because they never showed up.
Yeah. Well, I have problems with all my stuff is past the day limit. You know, they used to say, "Hey, what happened?" But after a week or 2, they are appearing. Almost all the stuff is arriving.
I ordered something from Lily Go-Go and went round and round with them, and they finally said we can't ship it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, give me my money back if you can't ship it.
I am buying a lot of stuff like resistors, surface mount, diodes, capacitors of all kind. Every mail is less than $1, and all of them are arriving. You know, you can buy 100 surface mount capacitors for 80 cents, and they spend sometimes more than a month. But after all, I have all the parts I asked for, so it's working for me.
I may just have to have you order stuff from China. It seems to work for you.
Yeah, it's working. I have all the stuff. All I don't identify any part that I am missing. You know, I have everything. Everything. It's impressive because I am buying more than 20 items per month, and I have no backup orders or something that is more than a month or 6 weeks.
Yeah,
Yes.
I haven't had that kind of luck. I've gotten, I think, 2 things from China out of the 6 that I've ordered.
I asked for refund a couple of times, but after 2 weeks the item arrives, and they say, okay, I have the item now. You can just charge me again the thing. They do.
LilyGo tried to pull a fast one on me. They wanted me to go and place my order over on AliExpress, and they were going to discount it to a penny. And I was like, no. If you can't ship it from eBay, then how are you going to ship it from AliExpress? What's the difference?
I don't know. But both are working pretty well for me.
Yeah, I've had one order refunded from AliExpress and one order refunded from eBay, and I'm still waiting on 2 more orders that are probably going to end up getting refunded because I've been waiting for 3 months now.
Oh, it's too much. They usually they work faster than that.
19 seconds, guys. Somebody's
Oh.
sharing the screen.
Well, this is heavy duty.
How about that one?
That is probably way more than I need.
How many amps?
It was 120 watts.
Okay.